Polititbox on solo. It's been a little bit since I've made a video, but today is a day that I probably should. Lots happening in the NFT space, lots happening with Ethereum. Lots of people wondering what's happening here. Is this somewhat of a kind of a wake-off thing? If so, we can still have a few more spikes if that's the thumb there. Could this be a wake off in and of itself here type of thing, which it already kind of did what it needed to do? And yeah, we could very well stay here for a bit. So between 34 and 35 is not ideal of a place to kind of hover about. That would nullify a few things. We were hoping to get to this 3, and now it's looking more like corrections. So we did have these targets down here, and if we get through this red down to this, chances are we will most likely have to retest this 3200 range and be really bullish from there. That's about a 10% drop. Not ideal. Lots of alts went down with this last little drop. People are scared of this move that got us to here because they know what's about to happen, it feels like. I might consider selling 10% of some of the things that aren't dropped yet, just so I can have some cash ready for some dips. We'll see what that might be. CTX was pretty top today. Let's see if it's still up. I might take some profit on that. Went up 20%. Yeah, that CTX is still looking hot. Got a nice position in CTX. I'm going to have to cash out of that pretty quick after this video a little bit. Nothing else really, I think, popped much out of the things I've been looking at. Everything's pretty red here. Comps down, storage days down. AXS is hovering about, so that's not too bad. SHIB's up, Leash is up. Shiboshi's coming out. Apparently might come out Thursday, according to somebody I know. But I don't know if that's reliable or not. AXS hovering about 122, 130 range for the last couple days. Should have a decent little pop up, but again, still just going to stay in this range, probably for a few days. And then it can really pop. So this week, hopefully, just stays sideways overall. Take a look at Ethereum dominance. We saw this pathway that we essentially somewhat followed here. Do we have a 5 wave in there already? 1, 2, and then here's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's assume this is a correction. So then maybe like the X. If this was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I could see that. This 5 would be a little bit short between the net of the 3 and the 1, although I don't think so. Let's see. If that's the 1, that's about what, minus 48, and this one is minus 87, so roughly, minus 63. So that would leave only a net of 20. 40, yeah, this 5 could be that 5 there. And so this would be a correction. That'd be great if we start seeing some correcting here. I don't know if I would sell CTX at this point, but I probably will because it didn't drop yet and everything really did. So still probably sell some CTX, probably won't sell anything of the dipped ones, at least based on this 2 hour. We got the up signal on the 4. We had an up signal here, went up up signal here went down signal here went up, down signal here went down. So it's like 50% hit ratio, slightly above on the 4 hour. But trading dominance is a bit hard at this range, at least. Right now, I think most people should be mostly in Ethereum and Bitcoin. It's a bloodbath. So, hitting some decent green targets down there, that will probably swoop up this volume. And if we do that down here, we'll honestly probably hit that. But we have this nice bounce on this golden cross indicator line. But on this weekly, I'm really not liking this. Again, that 16.5 target. Just going to draw kind of a line right here. And that would not be fun. If Bitcoin shoots up to 50–60%, we could see it get down. Could it really be as low as it was in March? I really don't think so. If we were to bring on Ethereum on here, in March it was 2,000, and then when did it hit 2,000 again? When it was at 17.7 and when it was at 11.3, Ethereum was basically the same price. So Ethereum was able to jump up, 6% and remain at the same price there. And what does that mean if it drops back down to here? It could potentially stay at the same price here. It's been really going down for all these weeks and hasn't really hit the red zone yet. But we could potentially have, at least 3 weeks of red, 5 weeks more of red, 2 weeks out of the last year getting past this low volume point. So, we've been looking at a big drop. Imagine to 2,800. That would not be fun for most people. We have very little support at 2,800, except for this time we get to 2,800. We've touched 2,800 a good handful of times here and here. Basically 3 and 4 weeks ago. So if we touch that again, that's when we're dropping to 2,400 minimum. 2,400 minimum. Then I imagine we would jump up one more time to 3,200. We do have a slight M here, but I do want to see a Haken reversal candle like these. Notice this was the up reversal candle, then this was the down, and then this was the reversal candle, the down. So I do want to see like a weekly reversal candle here, which means you would have to dip down this week and come back up to this level. Then that would suggest we're going back down more. Now, my biggest question is, should I sell and how much? Here we have a nice daily green volume here. We do have this down. We do have the daily Haken reversal on the down. It does not look like it needs to get down here again to this 3,300 on the daily. But we did jump off this, bounce off this daily fib line. So, a second attempt at it would be nice. It's hard to spot some Elliott waves here. Yeah. Really, we had that Gartley thing coming up. It was following it down quite a bit, and then it bounced off, which means, it could have to retest it before it goes down, back up. So around this 2,400 level would be a pretty nice retest. Again, we've only bounced off this once, twice. I don't think we're going to touch it again in this short of a time frame. I imagine we would need to bounce off the top somewhere. You know, weekly looks bad, daily looks fine. 4 hour gets us to that, 3,300 range. But again, once we get there, really, this is going to cascade at least to 28, and then that 26. And again, if we drop that 28, you saw what it looked like on the daily or the weekly. If we drop 28, we're going to 24 at least. So, sorry boys, we have this purple line I drew at the beginning of October. Just had to go far enough away from it for it to be really devastating for a lot of people. I hate to have to call this, and I hope I'm wrong, really. And we did see that 4 hour momentum turning. It's, or 3 hour momentum, sorry. Maybe that was the daily. So here we're skipping a green. That is not good to see, to skip this green right here, because we're just going to continue red right now. This 3 hour, we had small hope, and now for the last 4 hours it's been going back down. 45 going up, but I don't trust that too low of a time frame. Let's look at the 3 hour total cap. Not losing that green steam. We're at some very unfortunate levels. Drop 50 billion. Probably grab that long here, grab that short here. I'm going to kind of stop thinking about these Elliott waves until I see a pattern emerge. We almost got close enough to that 3. Honestly, it's now time for this 4 drop. If this was a 2 and that was more of a triangle, chances for 4 to be a triangle as well is unlikely. And so, more than likely, it'll just be like a zigzag correction down, which is kind of like we're seeing here. Or this might be that flat correction, and then maybe, yeah. Either way, it's looking down here. We are above this red level, 2.3. We're pretty close to it. Everything's looking pretty down. Once it drops that, people will be alarmed. Some alerts will go off. Here we got 3 hour curving over. The market is so difficult. What kind of pattern is that? It's just following this channel. One, two. Look at this 5-minute ticker. This is crazy to see happen. This was quite the doozy for a lot of people, I'm sure. Bitcoin dropped from 57, 56 to 50 in 1 minute, 3-minute time frame. That's why you don't have stop losses, guys. Look where it goes back. That was like an important retest of sorts to get it on this upward channel that will likely only show up on Bitstamp. Notice here, but this is how you kind of spot the clues in the market where you have these anomalies, kind of see what's going on. Too long of a time frame, maybe 15 minutes. Still got that same channel. And so, yeah, maybe we can touch that top there. That'd be fun. because we already touched the bottom. So it's hard to call continuation bottom after things have dipped already so much like this. Really, the natural correction should be up. There's just so much down. We've basically been up for a couple of weeks. We need at least one red week, I think. Kind of keep going. It's not like we've been going up for 3 weeks, or 2 weeks, but there's been lots of nice runs. Kind of get some good buys in and set your positions. But here, we're basically at the peak, and if you're down here at the, this USDT is the peak of these bear drops. So how likely is this USDT to keep turning over? It's already broken out of this channel and retested it, and it did what we didn't want it to do, and it's continuing to do that. This is a 15-minute channel. We're seeing, these aren't that big of swings. But this is what I don't like. Look at all this green up here. All that green up there is quite not fun to look at. It's going to break past this, retest, and probably shoot up there. This little, how bearish it felt over the last 12 hours, it's the little move it did, so up to here would be pretty bad. I thought we'd bounce up here, but we kept going. Bitcoin dominance, broke past, hit this yellow target. Should probably tag that. Forgot what I'm on. Maybe I'm like on 180. Now, what's going to happen here? We're going to have to retest this. It's going to be a 0.5% drop. Hopefully it's going to be a bearish, a bullish retest. So, yeah, I'd be moving things to Bitcoin pretty soon after this little retest down here. To just continue up this channel, it will eventually be bullish. Yeah, if we plot Bitcoin on here, you see Bitcoin's just been rising. It's been rising with this dominance up. And look at, there's still lots of green up there on the daily. Yeah, a lot of other things dropped. Bitcoin's rising and likely to continue rising. So this is likely to play. Anyway, what's happening in NFT world? I've been looking at some things. Oops. Yeah, watch at your own risk. It's interesting looking through these collections. See, there's 35 listed. The floor price. It's nice to see things in the hundreds listed. I've been looking at Magic Eden. It'll be curious to look at these different sites to see how much volume they have on SpyFree, for example, to see where's the traffic really right now. There's not a lot of tools out there. And if you look at Magic Eden, for example, yeah, it's not even ranked. Maybe because it's like a blockchain website or something. That's weird. What about Rarible? Rarible, 10,000 clicks a month. That's pretty low volume for like a really popular NFT site. If you look at something like, OpenSea, .io. There we go. 150,000 clicks a month. So that's nice. OpenSea's kind of a big conglomerate of them all. So that's really our baseline. Anything within a percentage of that is going to be how we measure volume on a certain platform. So having roughly, if this has half the market share, or let's say 80% of the market share, and this is just Ethereum. We're looking at Solana. We're looking at a few different platforms, but Rarible is a pretty popular one, and it's less than 1/10 of this one. I want to spot at least one Solana one on here. Solc.io. Just see how much volume Solana has. Real quick. Yeah, it's really early for Solana. But yeah, Solana's really rocketed in the NFT space, just similar to Axie's. From 30 to 150 in the last 5 months, just like Axie's AXS token. So these assets we're getting for 1 or 2 Solana right now will quickly be $1,000 or $2,000 here shortly once Solana hits $500. And then these will be really popular. But right now everything's really cheap. I'm not even finding it on Spy Fierce for some reason. It's kind of crazy. Digital Eyes is another one. So Digital.eyes is a Solana platform. If we look at this one, it's interesting to see Apex Ducks here. That's cool. Digitalized Market posted something. Yeah, I've been looking at these a little bit. They're selling for 2 Sol. A lot of them are selling for 2 Sol. This floor just went from 1.3 to 1.2. Interestingly, they've been around for a couple months now, almost about 1.5 months, and about 17,000 members in their channel. About 3,000 online, I think. 6,000. Just 2,000. So much volume just for having 2,000 members online. That's what being listed on an exchange that's promoting you really can do. But again, they've been around for a while, and they got some traction. And I couldn't tell how much these cost to mint. I'm assuming it was probably 2 Sol. So anything at half the mint cost is a really strong floor in these communities. And the fact that there's a strong floor suggests that these guys are in it for the long run. And these communities will basically be the backbone of the price of these assets. So once enough people stop being willing to sell at below the mint cost. That's really where these start to gain traction. But you do want to see that volume, and this has lots of volume on several sites. Park Racing Club's also the one I've been looking at. We're starting to see a lot more at this one sol price range. So as you watch it throughout the day, you're seeing more and more get listed at that one sol range. Looks like the one with the baseball bat got picked up, and now people are like, oh, people are buying it at one sol. I guess I can go down 20, and it's not bad. So you see these 4 get picked up. Probably see the others go to 1 to get picked up, and there will be kind of a turning point, but you know, average 1.4. So if the average for the last 24 hours is above the floor, that's pretty good. 1,400 listed, 20% of them, that's pretty good. So it's not like everybody's trying to get rid of them right now. I'm also really looking at parametries. I've been getting, I got a Polititbox recently, and if you hold one of these, you get a free tensor drop. So these will cost 3 to mint, so only just 3 left below the mint cost. I picked one up at 1.5 sol, so picked up the lowest one off the floor. Now just a couple left at 2 sol. So I really anticipate these getting up to that 4 to 12 sol range. There's only 100 assets in this collection. They have several collections. Obviously, the Cyber, what is it? The Cyber Samurai collab with the Dojo box. So this has 150, and got a decent floor here at 1.75. Really only one below the floor at this stage, so that's encouraging to see. We also got the Tone box. That was a collaboration with Soltone, where they took the parametries algorithm and the Soltone's algorithm and layered them on top of these paintings. Here you see a lot below the mint price, below half, and yeah, great buy. So the way these projects work is, sometimes they drop to half the mint cost, sometimes they drop more. What's nice about being in these early communities is you get rewarded for these Genesis assets that encourage you for being the initial minter or a holder of an original asset. It's nice when the communities do both for the original minters and the eventual holders. It's hard to do things for the initial minters after the fact, but especially if you have more collections, you can always do that. I picked up one off the cover, off this collection, when you go to Parametri's website. So that was great to pick up right off. Where I got it. Trying to remember now. Anyway, the other one I wanted to just take a peek at with you guys was this Orc Racing Club. So they launched about 3 p.m. today. It's about 10:45 p.m. So in about 7 hours, they sold 4,500 assets. They're selling out by tomorrow, or they're going to close the sale after 24 hours, so tomorrow at 2 p.m. I do believe these will sell out. They are the featured launch. I did spot this in the upcoming launches section, wherever that was. And I guess now that this one's being launched, this one is the one that's been featured, but when none of them are being launched, you're going to see the upcoming ones. So this is really the launch right now. that's being featured. So all of these other ones are closed. This one's open. This one's finished. This one's finished. So it's unfortunate these ones didn't all get sold, but that's what can happen. You know, that's not one I would want to buy. It's a bad initial picture. It's probably why I didn't sell. And I don't know why this one's closed. Maybe they pulled their launch. You know, we can kind of take a look at them. Through Twitter, find their Discord. Launching October 13th. So they removed their launch off Magic Eden, even though from ETH to Sol. The first big project to launch with Launchpad. Not anymore. That's too bad. So the first big project, does that make Orc Racing Club the first big project to successfully launch on Magic Eden? That would make this a big deal. They tried, and now they're going to try again, but they're not the first. And they were at a cheaper rate. So if this sells at 1 Sol, that's twice the market cap of this one. It's still twice the market cap of this one. So this would be really the first big project through the launch pad. And yeah, I said I'd probably get this when they get to about 8,000 sales. So I think having a wide variety of these, of small collections, larger collections, things you found through the launchpad, things you found that were appealing to you, things you found through community involvement. Those are all the ways to maximize your NFT collection, especially because the more involved you are in different communities like Parametries or other ones, you help shape what the eventual launches look like and how the airdrops work. And so the more involved you are, the more free stuff you get really in these groups. So right now everything's cheap. Everything's within $200 to $400. And as the price rises and as things get saturated, there's going to be a trade-off between trying to launch on something new or something that's established. You know, Ethereum's established, Solana's becoming established. Once you're at like 5 to 10 of these huge platforms or token-based video game blockchains of sorts, good luck trying to carve yourself a niche. Right now, it's kind of open territory, first to market, first to not mess up really bad. It's kind of what it's like. So, and it's really easy to mess up really bad because everybody's still learning. And again, going back to Parametries, it's nice they have several collections so they can keep adapting their launching strategies with each consecutive one. Lots of collaboration possibilities. What's challenging about something like Orcs Racing Club is, there's only going to be 9,900 orcs forever. Yeah, they might make more cars. If you get an orc, you get a free car NFT for their video game. So that's really the only reason I'd be getting it. But that means both would probably drop to half a Sol, just to kind of retain that market value based on what you got for free. But as long as there's a way you can protect the market value of the asset for the initial buyers, it costs you 1 Sol to mint and it drops to half, that's fine as long as you get another asset that's worth half a Sol. I wouldn't have to sell. I'd be happy with what I have. And so that's kind of the trajectory. And eventually, to kind of get some of these established ones, you're going to have to pay a premium because uncertainty is risky, but that's where you can make larger gains. But then when something's established, you're going to have to pay a premium to jump on that train. As far as targets, if we were to see if XTZ is bouncing, because I was trying to get XTZ, but man, I really don't like what it looks like. Can it really drop to 380? That's so hard. It's so hard, but it could. I really don't want to say that. You know, CTX being sideways this long. This floor pretty hard, the ceiling. That would not be a fun ceiling to stop at. I was hoping for something like 36. That would make it worth holding. And you're down another 10%, despite this green. But now that does suggest, that 30% pop. So to sell tonight on New York, probably not worthwhile. Link, got that 4 hour, but still some volume down here that we don't want to see. I can see it really dropping that to 22, another 10% drop on Link. Draw some targets so we kind of keep our thoughts together. BNT has stayed up. Now it's started to drop. Maybe it's worth selling a little bit of BNT. If it keeps dropping more, we'll probably retest down here, 10 or 20% drop. Luna already dropped quite a bit. Like that 10% drop last day. How much more can it go? Potentially a lot more. We got this daily down, here this daily down, and then it went up. Daily down, then it went down. Daily up, then it really went up. So the daily indicators are pretty strong. Yes. Maybe we should put everything onto PAXG Gold. Oops. But it could still drop a little bit. Anyway, so I'm going to leave it at that. Good luck, guys.